woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. Yeah, sue me now. Sometimes I go down to Dover for the day, right? And I look out, right? I look for a boat, and I see a dinghy with about 60 of them, and I go over here, like, right? And I pull them in to shore, and I go, women and children first. They go, there are no women and children. Just you lads, is it? Just come on, lads. Come on, lads.
Ricky Gervais is one of the funniest comedians around. People love him because he's fearless when tackling any topic. But what really sets him apart is more than just his sharp jokes.
I tried to watch a bit of it, and I decided I'd rather watch Louis C.K. masturbate. Can't mention him anymore, he's cancelled.
Ricky Gervais's humor goes beyond clever jokes. What really gets people laughing is his ability to call out harsh truths. He says what everyone's thinking but won't say out loud. In this video, we're diving into his sharpest takes on woke culture, tackling everything from censorship to identity and politics. Expect his most controversial moments, filled with biting sarcasm and no topic off limits. Let's get started with Ricky's hilarious take on Boris Johnson's infamous comments about Muslim women, showing once again how he finds humor even in the most heated topics.
You say to me, you spoil that cat. I go, yeah, I do. It's a cat. It's not a person. What's the worst that can happen if you spoil a cat? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't grow up to be fucking Boris Johnson. It is... No, I don't get political.
Ricky expertly takes aim at both Boris and society's double standards with one clever punchline. Now, let's move on to something even bolder. Ricky's satirical perspective on illegal immigration.
I am woke now, and I can prove it. Here you go. I love illegal immigrants. And I go, where you headed? And he goes, Gary Lineker's house. I go, it's just down there.
Ricky jokes that immigrants should be welcomed at Gary Lineker's house, turning a serious issue into a laugh-out-loud moment. Next, he takes on something closer to his world: woke comedy. With all the new rules in comedy, Ricky isn't holding back. Here's his take on woke humor and the idea of safe spaces in stand-up.
Says to me about another comedian, they say, oh, they're not funny. Even if I agree with them, I stand up and I say, well, you can't say that. You've got to say, you don't find them funny, you know? And I hate it when people say, that joke was offensive. I gotta say, no, you've got to say, you found it offensive, because it's all about feelings and feelings.
Ricky argues that comedy loses its essence if it doesn't risk offending someone. Now, let's move on to one of his most talked about moments, the Caitlyn Jenner joke. While some called it transphobic, Ricky is ready to explain why they completely missed the point.
It was a Caitlyn Jenner joke, right? Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people going, it was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offense. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke. You make your own minds up. Right. So...
Ricky emphasizes that the subject of a joke isn't always the target, a concept many still struggle to understand. Next, we delve deeper into the cancel culture debate, where Ricky has plenty to say. In this segment, he directly confronts cancel culture, warning that those applauding today's cancellations might one day end up in the same boat.
If you're the type of person to revel in someone getting cancelled for something they said 10 years ago, you're just ensuring that one day you'll be cancelled for something you said today. You can't predict. The worst thing you can say today is, women don't have penises, right? Now, no one saw that coming.
Let's dive into another hot-button issue: the evolving definition of what it means to be a woman. Ricky never shies away from polarizing topics, and in this segment, he takes on the changing ideas around gender and identity with his trademark sharp humor.
Women. Not all women. I mean the old-fashioned ones. You know, the old-fashioned women. Oh, God. You know, the ones with wombs. Oh.
Here's Ricky tackling another sensitive subject: obesity. Staying true to his style, he adds a twist of absurdity by humorously comparing it to being gay.
Listening to the radio in England a few weeks back, Radio 4, quite highbrow, there was a discussion about political correctness. My name came up straight away, right? And there was this woman on there going, oh yeah, well it's not right. Ricky Gervais, he makes jokes about fat people. He wouldn't make jokes about gay people, would he? And being fat is like being gay. What? No, it's not. What? You can't choose your sexuality.
Of course, Ricky doesn't buy into that comparison. Next, he takes aim at something even bigger, the hypocrisy of woke Hollywood. With its virtue-signaling speeches backed by companies running sweatshops, Ricky isn't fooled by the moral high ground these celebrities claim. And let's be honest, neither are we.
Roared into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama, yeah. A superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China.
The term queer has changed a lot over the years, and Ricky can't help but laugh at how confusing it's all become.
Of course, the word queer has changed. Again, traditionally, the word queer used to mean someone who was attracted to the same sex as themselves, a gay man. Right? Now, the word queer can mean a straight man who wants some attention.
Ricky's biting sarcasm always shines a light on the absurdities, and next, he tackles what really happens when people claim they're offended. In his view, being offended doesn't automatically make someone right. In this segment, he explains why offense is subjective and why it's so important to keep pushing boundaries in comedy.
Well, that's the thing about offense, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offense is about feelings, and feelings are personal.
It's a fine line, but Ricky firmly believes the best comedy challenges the norm. Next, he talks about the reaction to his Netflix special, Supernature. The backlash online was intense, but Ricky's response, let's just say, he's not losing any sleep over it.
Supernature dropped on Netflix last year. Big backlash, wasn't there? Big backlash. People going, you can't say that. You can. I did. Well, I am woke, and now I'm woke, the first thing I've got to do is change my Twitter bio. Because at the moment, it's like a list of the shows I've created. But now I'm woke, I've got to pop in the word anti.
Ricky thinks controversy often helps a special gain more attention. Next, he dives into the hot topic of cultural appropriation. While it's been getting a lot of focus lately, Ricky isn't convinced it's as big a problem as it's made out to be. Here's his take on it.
I did think of adopting for a while, a little third world child, because that would tick all three boxes, wouldn't it? You know? You think of it like, one, I wouldn't be adding to the population problem. I'd be alleviating an existing problem. A young kid born through no fault of his own into abject poverty. He would have died without me. I can literally save his life and give him a great upbringing, right? Two, he would be grateful, wouldn't he? He'd want to pay me back, wouldn't he? Particularly if I let him know that all the other kids in the village, they weren't so lucky, they didn't make it out. I'd tell him that early on, so he really bucked his ideas up, right? I'd go, Tundi, come here. Yeah, go and pop a shirt on, you're not in Africa now, mate. That's better, yeah. Tundi, yeah, water straight out of a tap, innit? Yes. No, it's not free, it's Hampstead. Yeah, of course it's safe. Safe. Fresh drinking water. Have as much as you want. Have a bucket full. Straight out of that fresh drinking water. There you go. Go and clean the car.
In this final clip, Ricky shares his thoughts on those who criticize him for being too controversial. While many say he crosses the line, Ricky argues that crossing boundaries is what comedy is all about. It should challenge limits and spark important conversation.